Hey, this is Nathan from Shrapnel. You are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Excellent. One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. I've done it before. I've gotten like three-quarters of the way through and realized, oh shit, I don't have anything on tape.
We've just moved house and I've just been running around my house trying to find suitable Wi-Fi and success. So we're good.
Oh yeah, everything is great. So let me go back so it's on tape. Holy shit, where have you guys been? I'm new to the Shrapnel fold. I heard it this morning, and In Gravity is amazing. It's got everything
That's
you want.
amazing.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Yeah, really appreciate that. It's obviously, yeah, it's released tomorrow. So it's been really interesting because I definitely feel like we're reaching a whole bunch more people on this new record. Um, Whether that's the sort of bigger label push we've been getting this time, or whether it's just an outcome of the sort of change direction we're having. But yeah, we've been really satisfied with some of the responses so far. So yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, I imagine the early response is great. So how long have you been around? How long have I not known about you?
We've been around for a minute actually. We started in 2009,
Oh wow.
but it took us yeah. So I mean, it took us quite a while to get our first record out. Our first album uh, kind of hit stores in 2014, so it's quite a big period, like a gestation
Right.
period between us beginning and releasing our first records. But yeah, we've been releasing records for about 10 years at this point, so it's been a while.
Yeah, I'll be spinning through the catalog this weekend and seeing what else is there because I had prepped, but I hadn't really gone through the record until this morning. It was like, my God, I'm missing something. So when you guys were writing In Gravity, was there a theme or a maybe like a takeaway or a message you want your fans to walk away with after listening to it?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a deliberate attempt at change. I mean, when you go for our discography, you'll hear we've kind of stepped quite far away from our thrash roots that we had for our first three records. Um, but it's been interesting because it's been an insane few years for us as a band. Like individually, we've all gone through. We've had family members lost. We've had divorces happen within the band, and it's just been a crazy few years. So we had this narrative of change that we wanted, um, and that's kind of coincided with all these crazy life events that we've all had. Um, so I think in the end, we've had an album that was actually, I think we've all agreed it's been quite a therapeutic experience, quite cathartic.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that an awful lot on this show. I think metal and the heavier kind of stuff, and In Gravity as well, but even on a greater level, I think that helps you get through so much of the shit, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Exercising
we
demons.
can, yeah, we can say the same thing about, I mean, our early stuff, the more thrashy stuff, that was kind of a release in its own way, just like angry, aggressive, fast music
Right.
can be a help in itself. But I think with the new one, it's definitely more introspective. There's a deliberate attempt at being like, here's what's going on in our lives,
Right.
and really trying to kind of work through that through lyrics and kind of these, like you say, some of these epic moments on the album, stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a really conscious effort at doing that this time around as well.
I think it's good though because you can't even imagine like how you going through what you were going through, expressed in the way Shrapnel is expressing it, is going to affect someone on the other side, and they're going to connect with your what you're saying. Right? It has such power.
Yeah, I think if I think about the bands that I love, I mean, there's an album I was just listening to this afternoon, one of the newer like Alice in Chains records, and that came out at a particular moment in my life, like 10 years ago, and it still resonates with me, right?
Takes you right back there too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's amazing that, I mean, to think that this introspective thing that we were doing for the last couple of years kind of affects someone else somewhere else is yeah, that's quite cool to hear.
But when you're writing though, you don't necessarily feel any sort of responsibility lyric wise, right? You're just kind of exercising what's in you and hoping
Yeah, I
other
think
people
so.
catch on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know when Dan was writing these lyrics for this one, it was very much, he's kind of exercise. I mean, that's true to an extent. I mean, it was definitely him exercising some demons of
Right.
his own, but also a kind of a warning of like, these are the issues I have, and these are
Right.
some of the problematic ways of dealing with these issues. That's a warning for other people
Right.
as well.
You ever feel like you put too much of yourselves in the lyrics? Like, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Joe Blow's gonna hear it and think different, or do you just not care
Yeah,
and do it?
I'm not sure. I'd have to ask Dan about that one, but no, no, I don't think. I mean, we've never put this amount of thought into things like lyrics before. I mean, we've put thought in before, but it's been kind of narratives about violence and history and
Right.
politics and things like that. Um, Whereas this is the more personal stuff. I guess we don't know yet.
Right.
We all seem fairly happy with it at the moment. So, yeah.
Are you writing songs for how they're gonna come across live, like how the crowd's gonna respond to it, or do you write songs for the song's sake and then just adapt them
I, I
to the
think
live setting?
I think we kind of we have we've done enough sort of bigger shows now, festival shows and things like that, to kind of just intuitively know what works at certain moments. So I don't think we set out to deliberately go, right, okay, we need this big section here for crowd response, or we know that this kind of thing is gonna get a pit going, or whatever, gonna send people crazy. I think we just kind of intuitively know that, really. So there wasn't really a deliberate effort. Maybe one or two spots on the record here and there, but no, we didn't, until we only just started playing some of this stuff live, and thankfully it's working really well. But yeah, there wasn't the intention of how are we gonna be able to recreate this live, or what impact this is gonna have. Thankfully, it's wound up that it does seem to have an impact, so we're pretty chuffed.
Yeah. So I'm curious. You said I haven't obviously not familiar with the discography, but the earlier stuff you said was more thrashy, and that's what I kind of was expecting when I put this on because I had heard the name, throughout. What was or was it a conscious effort to kind of change the general course, or did it just come about? And if it was a conscious effort, do you feel you might leave behind like hardcore thrash fans?
Yeah, I mean, we there was definitely, especially for me personally, the songs I wrote, there was definitely, a mind of like, let's try something new. But I also think that's something we've always done. So we have a discography of thrash, but when you listen through it, there's one clear cut thrash record. The second one is definitely more death metal inspired. The third one was more heavy metal inspired. So in terms of that, this new one was a bit more modern inspired. So it's kind of, we like to try different stuff. Um, and also, I think when you go back through our discography, you can hear, so I've always, for example, I've always been a massive Deftones fan. I've always been a huge fan of, sort of post metal stuff, and that's in those old records. I think we're just leaning on it more now. Um, and I think we'd be naive to say that we didn't expect more sort of hardcore thrash fans to not be upset. I think we knew they probably would. Um, but at the same time, I think we were hoping, okay, the music's going to be undeniably good, so hopefully we
Right.
can bring those people with us as well. Um, but yeah, I think we knew we'd kind of piss off a few people, but
I mean, growth is growth, and I guess your fans has got to be the core of Shrapnel through it all, though, right? I mean, whether it's tempo or not, it's still. I'm assuming there's still the core, vocals and whatever.
no. So we had a pretty big change. So Dan, our new singer, this is his first album with us.
See, I'm
Um,
learning a lot.
yeah, so I mean, this is one of the things we're maybe not quite as bad as someone like Megadeth at member changes, but we've
Right.
had our fair share. We've been really, really lucky in our past to have some incredible musicians come through. We've had three drummers in our time. We've had a couple of different bass players. Our third singer that we're on. So that can be a negative because of
Right.
continuity, but it also means that you get people come in and bring a whole new sort of flavor to things.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had like a death metal drummer before, so we ended up writing a really quite extreme record, right?
Right.
So with Dan, our new singer, he can sing anything. He's got an absolutely incredible voice, really talented guy. So that then, as we were changing, it also gave us the tools to be able to do far
Yeah.
more than we've been able to do before.
So it's pretty
Um,
natural. I mean, that sounds like a natural step, right? You changed a couple components, and it's going to be natural that it's not the previous.
Yeah,
Shrapnel,
definitely.
right?
I mean, we was kind of trying to go in a little bit more of a maybe more melodic direction with our last singer. But we were pushing him into a kind of uncomfortable space. But no, with Dan, he's more than capable of doing that stuff. So it drives that process forwards. But he's also a great songwriter as well. So some of those later songs, that really epic Absolution song,
Mm.
he brought that in. So yeah, so we have that benefit of his writing skills as well. That kind of adds to the mix for us, which is pretty great, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what's this look like live? You guys taking this on the road?
Yeah, so we actually had to cancel. Well, there's been some plans shifted because we're playing in France pretty soon. I think next month, and we were supposed to be at Metal Days
Mm.
in Slovenia. So
Yeah.
we were going to be traveling down through Europe. Metal Days has now been cancelled, obviously, so that's changed
You're
our plans
kidding. I didn't even
significantly.
see that.
Yeah, man, it really sucks. We were really looking forward to it. But yeah, that's now been pulled this year. Unfortunately, I think it's a problem, a hangover from COVID. So yeah, we're having to shift our plans, but we should be out before the end of the year. We'll be starting touring for the new record.
Excellent. And then it's a full on push. Are you guys one of those bands that's always writing, or do you write record for record?
And we were actually talking about this today. So we've started messing around with some new ideas. So yeah, that's literally happening from today by the sounds of it. So yeah.
Perfect. And then, so lastly, if fans want to find you or listeners want to find you, how can you give us all your socials?
Yeah, so Instagram, Facebook. We've now got the dreaded TikTok page has just started. But yes, it's Shrapnel UK usually for most things at Shrapnel UK.
Okay. And go check out In Gravity. Holy cow, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I was just in my group for the show. We have like a WhatsApp group or whatever, and I said this is gonna early on favorite for one of the top of the year. This is a great record.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, there's been some nerves about it, obviously, because of the stylistic change. We've been kind of like,
Right. And
yeah,
maybe, well, I hate to say this, but I don't know anything previous. I was just clueless going in and went, "Holy crap!"
oh, that's amazing. That's really nice to hear. Thank you.
Good luck with it. Hope it does well, and be safe on the road. Maybe we'll see you someday in the States here.
Yeah, that would be. I think that's one of our key aims for the next couple of years. So fingers
Awesome.
crossed.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Take care. Be
cool.
well.
Thank you for your time, man. Cheers.
Right on. Bye.